Hey folks, welcome to this week's show for Drawn to Whitetails. I'm Drew Ramage. On this week's show we have 3 things lined up for you. First up, we're going to join Benji as he has a great encounter with one of his Hitlist bucks as he's trying to self-film. And then second, we're going to join Paul McBride and Benji as he's filming for Paul as he does some doe patrol during the October lull. And then finally, we're going to finish up with Josh and I touching on these bucks, putting our trail cameras out and finding these bucks toward the end of October that we hadn't had on our farms all year long. So sit back, watch the show. We hope you enjoy.
Hey, I'm Benji Stringer and welcome to Drawn to Whitetails. It's very windy this afternoon. It's October 13th. I'm hunting over the Eagle soybean food plot we planted back in the summer, and I got a northwest wind this afternoon, and I thought I'd ease back here. And I've only hunted this spot one time, so maybe this afternoon the deer will move. There's a cold front pushing through, and it's just now starting to temperature starting to change, and the leaves are changing colors. We're supposed to get a frost this weekend coming up, so but hopefully it's fixing to get really good. It's definitely what we needed was this cold front to come through. So, but just stick with me, and maybe I can get something on the ground this afternoon.
Well, Benji had a great encounter with one of his Hitlist bucks. He was trying to self-film, and that is tough to do. And what happened is he was ready for that shot, and the deer came out or took a step or two forward and got out of the frame, and he nudged that camera with his knee, and he just made a bad shot. That's just all there is to it. But he didn't wound the deer, didn't hurt the deer, so he really didn't have a clue what happened once he ran off. He said he kind of settled back down once they got in the woods. And so he thinks that no harm was really done. So he's going to get back in there here in the next couple weeks, let it rest, and then hopefully he'll have another encounter with that deer and be able to close the deal. Now let's join Paul as he's on a morning hunt this past Saturday when that cold front came in, and had the opportunity to take a couple of deer.
Alright, it's October 17th. We're here in Illinois. 36 degrees this morning. We're in the middle of the dreaded October lull. But when you got a cold front that comes through like we've had, you've got to get in the tree. It's a perfect morning, considering we're set up on a hardwoods ridge. There's a lot of acorns up in here, and we're back off the food source, so we're not expecting a whole lot, but if we can get it done, this is going to be the spot, I think. So hang with us, we'll see what we can do. Look like a pretty good hit. I think she's down. I got her down over there. Here goes this other doe. Yeah. She doesn't have a clue what happened. He's right there. Joe will be happy. He's got one less doe to eat his crops on. I can probably kill this one too. I know if you want talking there, I'll shoot this one. You want my bow? I think I just. Maybe she'll run for about it. Hit that one low. It had a little bit, but I think she'll be right there. How many more hairs you got? I only got 3 more hairs. Let's do it. I get that second one a little low, but maybe it'll be all right.
Well, we had a pretty good morning this morning. Nice and cool. Had a few mishaps along the way, but we made it work. And this is the first one I shot. Made a good shot on her. And we knew she didn't go very far. And we heard her crash. And here she is. Nice doe. It's going to be good eating. It's also going to be good for her to get some of these does out of here and get the buck to doe ratio back to where it needs to be. On this farm, there's lots of does, and we got a lot of work to do. So we got this one. I'm gonna go try to trail up the second one we shot. It wasn't near as good a shot, but I feel pretty confident we'll find her. Stick with us, and we'll show you her when we get to her.
Well, Paul and Benji had an excellent morning in the woods. They were able to find that second doe that Paul shot. It went a little further than they expected. They didn't get any footage of it, but I just want to let y'all know that they were able to recover that. That goes back to something else too. They were able to take a couple more does off this farm, and I know we'll probably be doing that quite a bit this fall. I got 2 or 3 places that I know I need to thin the does out. The buck to doe ratio is skewed, plus the numbers on these farms are just a little high. We got to start taking those numbers back a little bit for the farmers. Last thing we want to touch on is we've been checking some of these cameras. This cold front hit, and some different bucks are starting to show up that we've never had on camera all summer long. I've got one on my lease that's a 5-pointer. That's all he is, but he looks to be at least 4.5 years old. It needs to be cold or shot, and I think it'd be a perfect buck for my son Ross to target this year. And then I also had a 3.5-year-old 8-point that I have not seen that has started to show up with this cooler weather and with it getting closer to the rut. Josh had the same thing. He put all his cameras over scrapes, and he had several different bucks showing up. So we're getting a new crop or a new batch of deer to start targeting. I got one pretty impressive tall timed 8-pointer that he may go a little higher on the hit list than what we'd have. Encourage you to get out and do the same thing, but check your cameras in timely fashion in the middle of the day when the wind's right. You just get in there and get out of there and don't disturb anything, and see if you're starting to pick up some new deer on your farms that you can start hunting here in a couple weeks. Well, we thank you for joining us this week's show of Drawn to Whitetails. Join us back next week. We hope to have some more hunting action for you, and as we always say, the season never ends.